to one-sixth of humanity and the world's largest youth population, India's progress in adopting sustainable development goals is crucial to achieving the Global 2030 agenda. The Government of India has confirmed its constant obligation for attaining the SDGs by seeking to safeguard access to basic services and empowerment of the most vulnerable communities, while at the same time nurturing inclusive and sustainable economic growth. India has embraced the SDG framework and has been driving various SDG initiatives in the past 6 years. When the world collectively recognized the urgency for sustainable development and instituted the SDG framework, India was at the forefront of embracing, adopting, and championing it. India's commitment to the SDGs has only strengthened in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government has adopted the SDGs as a guiding framework to steer development activities at the national and sub-national levels. The gains in poverty reduction, agricultural production, disease eradication, mass education, industrial action, innovation, and urban development are testaments to India's march forward. India's commitment to SDGs is evident in its efforts to safeguard access to basic services, empower vulnerable communities, and achieve inclusive and sustainable economic growth. The government programs and policies such as Ayushman Bharat, Poshan Abhiyan, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, to name a few, are closely aligned to the SDG priorities, enabling acceleration of progress towards meeting the global goals on time. On the progress monitoring side, the SDG India Index and Dashboard, designed and developed by Niti Aayog, has become the official and principal tool for SDG monitoring at the national and sub-national levels. Further, Niti Aayog has led the efforts to compute the multidimensional poverty index at the national, states, and district levels and derive actionable insights for faster outcomes in health, education, and living standards. India's commitment to the SDGs is reflected in its convergence with the National Development Agenda, as reflected in the motto of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or collective efforts for inclusive growth. India supports developing countries through the $150 million India-UN Development Partnership Fund. In the spirit of regional and global partnerships and the country's commitment to leave no one behind, India steps into the decade of action, drawing confidence from its experience in addressing challenges. The Government of India will continue to work collaboratively with all domestic and global stakeholders to accelerate efforts for a sustainable planet for future generations. India's sanitation condition has been extremely vulnerable since the last many decades. In 2015, almost 568 million people defecated in open due to the lack of toilets, especially in rural areas, which accounted to almost 90% of the people openly defecating in the open in South Asia. This not only polluted natural resources like water bodies but also resulted in the spread of various diseases. Committed to the holistic progress of the people at the grassroots, especially in remote rural areas, since 2014, the Modi government has worked extensively to achieve sustainable development by focusing on improving the living standards of the people. India has made rapid progress in ending open defecation and providing clean drinking water across the country in the last 9 years, which significantly impacts the goal of the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene or WASH program of UNICEF. The two flagship schemes of the government, Swachh Bharat Mission and the Jal Jeevan Mission, are considered to be at the helm of the world's largest behavior change programs for WASH. Jal Jeevan Mission and Swachh Bharat Mission have successfully ensured universal access to drinking water and sanitation respectively to millions of people across the nation. On March 23, 2023, Union Minister of Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, while addressing the UN Water Conference 2023, highlighted the aforementioned schemes in the context of the Sustainable Development Goal 6 on water and sanitation. The SDG 6 goals seek to ensure safe drinking water and sanitation for all by focusing on the sustainable management of water resources, wastewater and ecosystems. Shekhawat said that with over $240 billion invested in the water sector through government resources and partnerships with private innovators and startups, India is leading the charge toward achieving Sustainable Development Goal 6 targets. He said, and I quote, "The 5 principles that formed the bedrock of our actions are political will, people's participation, public financing, partnerships, and persuasion for ensuring sustained behavioral change." He said this while reiterating India's commitment to SDG 6 targets. Shekhawat specifically linked the Jal Jeevan Mission with SDG Target 6.1 and Swachh Bharat Mission with the SDG Target 6.2. The two goals state: SDG Target 6.1. By 2030, achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. SDG Target 6.2. By 2030, achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all and end open defecation, paying special attention to the needs of women and girls and those in vulnerable situations. Jal Jeevan Mission was launched in 2019 with the aim to provide tap water connection to every rural household and public institution in villages. Since the launch of the mission, the number of rural households having tap water supply has increased significantly. Over 105 million toilets have been built across the nation, transforming sanitation habits through mass-scale behavioral change of more than 600 million Indians. Swachh Bharat Mission was launched in 2014 as a nationwide campaign for achieving universal sanitation coverage. The government has worked actively to eliminate open defecation through mass-scale behavior change, construction of household-owned and community-owned toilets, and establishing mechanisms for monitoring toilet construction and usage. The progress achieved by India in sanitation habits and providing safe drinking water displays the country's commitment to SDGs. Under the Swachh Bharat Mission, Grameen, more than 11.08 crore individual household latrines and over 2.23 lakh community sanitary complexes have been constructed across the country since October 2014. As on March 27, 2023, over 2.27 lakh villages have been declared ODF plus villages. Similarly, under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, over 6.82 lakh IHHLs and over 6.36 lakh community and public toilets have been constructed since the inception of the campaign. 4,715 cities, which is nearly 98%, have been declared ODF cities. The progress achieved by India in sanitation habits and providing safe drinking water display the commitment of the Modi government towards the enhancement of citizens' ease of living and the drive for large-scale socio-economic upliftment. India's social programs present a sustainable development model for the world. India's commitment to achieving the SDGs in water and sanitation is evident in the various initiatives and policies it has implemented in recent years. While there is still a long way to go, India's progress towards achieving these goals is commendable, and the government's commitment to sustainability and conservation is a step in the right direction. If you liked this video, do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, this is Richa Dwivedi signing off. Dhanyavad and Namaste.